Hi, welcome to another podcast with SENDhelp. I'm Sharon,
I'm Nathan.
and today we've got Sky, and Sky is starting up a company called
Sensory Stars.
Sensory Stars. Oh my God, I've got my tongue twisted. Sensory Stars, and she's going to tell us a little bit about that. So yeah, welcome, Sky.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Pleasure. So yeah, do you want to just give us a little bit about your background, and then we'll move on to Sensory Stars and what you're starting up?
Yeah, so my professional background or my neurodiversity background.
I think neurodiversity. Let's go in there.
Yeah, so I've got a 9-year-old daughter who is diagnosed with autism. She's level 2, but I know that they changed, but she was diagnosed when she was 3, just a month before her 3rd birthday. So she's got quite substantial needs. She was nonverbal until she was 5.5, 6 before she was fully verbal. And then she didn't get out of nappies until she was 7.5. So she's quite delayed in that respect. And then I've got my little boy as well, who is 8, and he is on the ADHD and autism pathways. Yeah, it's been a bit of a fight with him. It's not been so clean cut as it was with my daughter because it was so obvious with her, but with him, it's a lot harder. And then myself, I was diagnosed with OCD when I was 19. So specifically relating around health and things like that, and also symmetry. I've got a big thing about needing to be symmetrical and bodily functions and things like that. I feel like I need a wee all the time and I actually don't. It's just loads of weird stuff anyway. So I got diagnosed with that when I was 19. And then I got diagnosed with ADHD, dyspraxia and dyslexia when I was at uni. So that wasn't that long ago. That was 5 years ago or something. And I'm on the autism pathway, waiting. Yeah, I don't
I was
know.
about to say the autism, but what the symptoms you just listed could also be autism. I was going to say that to you. Do you reckon you've got OCD and autism, or autism rather than OCD?
I definitely have OCD, because of the thinking I'm dying all the time and checking my body, and just the whole checking, making sure I'm not dying, going for X-rays, going for blood tests. My doctor gives me a blood test every 6 weeks, just to reassure me. I'm under the oncologist, even though I've been in remission from cancer since I was 15. They still see me every year because they know that it's for my mental health. I need that.
That's good though, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, he's really nice. Obviously, he's going to retire soon. But yeah,
How do I get all that?
Yeah.
I want that.
yeah.
Hold on, he hasn't had cancer. He's being dramatic. It's
I have been really lucky, with my doctors and stuff. They are really nice, and reassuring as well. But it does fully take over my life. I can't function. So yeah, the OCD is definitely the most prevalent for me.
yeah.
And obviously ADHD and stuff, but I don't know about the autism yet. But I think the symmetry could possibly be in the body.
I've got a bit of a thing for that as well. What's that about? It irritates me. I can see there's a picture up on my wall now and it's not quite straight, and it will irritate me the entire time. It's just I just need to go and touch it.
Mine's with my body. I feel like it's not symmetrical, or my hair. I've sometimes straightened, touched my hair so much I've made my scalp sore and bleed because I need it
Oh,
symmetrical on each side. So it's
yeah.
it's quite weird. Yeah, weird stuff.
I guess as well, because just going from our experiences of children and young people we've worked with, a lot of that are traits of autism. But I think when they get overgeneralized, then perhaps it falls into the realms of OCD, doesn't it? When it becomes really compulsive and detrimental to your life, I guess.
Yeah, you just don't know that you do. Yeah, you
No.
get told what's wrong, God, I've been told there's so many things. So yeah, you just don't know. I've been for bipolar testing, BPD, generalized anxiety, eating disorders. So it's just you just really don't, what one you're gonna take really.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's just crazy.
But on a positive, so, you've obviously got a very full life with your children, with your own diagnosis or diagnoses, but you're starting up a business.
Yeah, so I just felt that there was a need. And initially what I wanted to do was actually run the clubs myself. And I was like, there's no clubs around here for my daughter. I really need to put on like an autism club or whatever so she can meet, you know, children her age. But then I just thought, one, I don't really like people, so I can't actually host them. So this is a ridiculous idea. I can do all the planning, but at the end of the day, I'm probably not going to be reliable enough to turn up every week and run it. And then I'm not that friendly. So I was like, oh, that's a really bad idea. So what I should probably do is like get together with people that are already running these places and put them in one place, but also work with existing providers, because there was a number of places that I called up about for my daughter. For example, she was like really into football at one point and she wanted to join football, and they were just like on the phone, they were like, we don't run a autism football.
Yeah.
But if you know anyone, we're happy to put one on. Like, if you know there's more than, like, if you can get enough kids. Because I was like, it's really in demand. Like, you should really, like, switch on and actually put these on. And they were just like, well, we don't know that the demand is there. So I was like, by making this website, we can prove there's a demand, because obviously the traffic that comes towards the site, and obviously when you sign up for the site, it will say what you're interested in. And we'll be able to get, like, demographics for each area of what's missing, and then work with people and be like, actually, there's 200 people here that need SEN swimming lessons. Can we please put some on that are actually affordable? And then it gives you that case to go forward and like put it in the areas that need it. Because some areas are really well serviced and they've got like everything, but I'm down in Cornwall and there's really nothing. And there was I put up a couple of TikTok posts and asked people, you know, where it's needed, and you can kind of see like already like the different areas and what doesn't have support and what does. So that's really where it comes from. And then obviously with my son, my daughter not too bad now, but for the first like 6 years she wouldn't get her hair cut. My son, he won't get his hair cut, and it's just a big nightmare. So it's like, again, it's like, well, not just thinking about the clubs, like let's think about like everything else that comes along and everything else that's difficult. So it's things like restaurants that are willing to make you special orders. So like for my daughter, she'll only eat plain bacon if she goes out, that's it. And it's like some places will just look at you like, no, we're not doing it. And then other places are really welcoming. So it's like, I want to put all of these places, you know, that are happy to do like quiet mornings at soft play, or, you know, hairdressers that are willing to just like use those products that aren't so, you know, smelly, and the clippers aren't so loud and all of that kind of stuff. So just putting them all together in one place really, rather than having to go.
Great idea. Great idea.
It is.
It's very needed. Very needed. I think you kind of hit the nail in the head that everyone, because there are out there as well. And again, about doing what you've had to do and try these services and try these restaurants, and then not know whether the experience is going to go good or bad. You can kind of look at somewhere and know where to go that's going to be safe, instead of go for the trauma of it being bad, if that makes sense.
Friends of parents.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, you know, we've all got different issues ourselves. Actually, even for ourselves, going into these environments is stressful, let alone taking your child and you're trying to risk assess and work out how it's going to be. It's awful.
Haircuts are huge.
Yeah.
Haircuts have always, where I've worked, haircuts have always been a thing. There's always either some people I've worked with, or even some people, some of my family and friends struggle going out for haircuts. Like, hate haircuts. It's always, I see that quite common coming through my Facebook, actually, comments about like haircutting, how to get them to do haircuts and stuff. And I find it's what you want to say is basically, why can't they come to your home? But then you're robbing them of the normal experience, and I think that's detrimental. So you really want them to go to the barbershop. You really want to be able to be inclusive into that, instead of trying to, because it segregates more. You probably could get a barber to come to you and do it in your home and stuff like that, but it's not the experience that they're getting. It's not real life, and you're still kind of segregating them from it.
Yeah, it's still a drama even at home as well, because then they just like no hide. And they just
Exactly.
But yeah, there is some really good ones that are mobile, and like, you know, we'll be listing them as well. But again, like you say, it'd be good just to get, and there's some really good ones. Like, I've found loads of really good ones like that are going to be on the website and stuff. So yeah, and you know, there's a lot of people out there that want to know as well, that are like, okay, I want to make my salon like more inclusive, or I really want to make my club more inclusive, but I just don't know how, or
Yeah.
or they might just do something like, the thing that I've found as well is like, it's like some places just think by making it quiet, then all of a sudden you're all inclusive. Like, oh, we're gonna like not have the radio on, so yeah, welcome, autism inclusive. And it's like so much more to it than that. Like, it's
the hair clippers on, and it's like
everything, isn't it? And it's just like, Yeah, because you see that a lot of the time in the shops, and it's like I saw a well-known sports shop, and they had like an autism on a Monday morning or whatever, and you could go in, and like I went in there, and it's like blaring like Charlie XCX, and it's like, all right, like the lights are low, but like
Yeah.
the music's still blaring, and it's just like, yeah, it's quite misunderstood, I think. So just about like it
Definitely.
as well.
Definitely. So are you going to, what's your demographic? How far reaching? Are you looking all across the UK? Are you looking?
Yeah, I'm doing the whole of the UK, so launching it across the whole of the UK, and obviously like into the UK. Like I say, I'm based down in Cornwall, so for me going into businesses and assisting with them and helping them get set up in how to be more sensory friendly and stuff, that's probably going to be like the southwest initially, because I can't really travel like too far and too often. But yeah, I mean, we can do online workshops and things like that, and newsletters, and so all of the people that sign up will get support in how to make their business more inclusive. So yeah, but the plan is just the whole of the UK.
No, that's brilliant. So something we've done with SENDhelp. So again, our members are all over the country,
Yeah.
and everybody is struggling with what you're talking about now. So we're talking about holiday clubs, and already children that have been excluded. My son got excluded every single holiday club he went to last year. So this year I haven't got any to send him to. And, we had a member that's a little girl went, and they said they couldn't meet her needs. And so now she's at home for the whole summer. So it's something that I've been researching, and it's not that easy. It's not that, because again, like you say they're set up for children with additional needs. But are they?
It comes back to training again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And this is why we kind of create SENDhelp, because there is no one training people on autism in generalised, like just generally. They're not even a light session on ADHD and autism, which is why it's up to people's own TikTok knowledge, I suppose, at the moment, of how they adapt that, which will be just be the blanket statement of doing stuff like turning the lights down and thinking that's going to be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You are right, though. People are very willing, and we're finding this, that no one ever says no, it's how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, oh no, I don't want to do that. It's how do we do that? Or how can we make that into things? And then it's making that.
Everybody I speak to, everybody. So I've sort of been out to a few different events over the last few weeks. Everybody I speak to has somebody in their family or are themselves neurodivergent.
Yeah.
So this isn't like, we're not being quirky. We're not being like, it's like, no, this is about meeting our needs and actually making being inclusive, we don't want to, like Nathan was saying, we're not talking about being separate. We're not talking about, we need this special thing, but we're talking about, we need reasonable adjustments. And why wouldn't the business want to? They'll thrive.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And that's kind of like the way that I'm kind of approaching businesses is like, the waiting list for diagnosis is absolutely massive. So in the next 5 years, like that demographic is going to grow. So by you kind of making yourself inclusive now, you're future-proofing your business, because, if you're not, you're going to be falling behind. It's a little bit like
100%. Yeah.
Good self-impact, yes, you can say
That's really good. It's true. It is true, because I literally cannot believe, like I say, every person I speak to, whether it's themselves, whether it's a family member, a brother, a sister, a daughter, a son, are neurodivergent. So
yeah.
it's, we're growing in number. I don't think we're growing in number. We've always been there. Maybe the awareness wasn't.
Yeah, I think the awareness is definitely, and I think, like social media does have a lot to play in that. And people always say like, oh, why don't you keep banging on about it on social media? And it's like, because that is the only, that is an educational tool. And yeah, it does like wind me up a little bit when people are like, oh, is everyone going on about it? Everyone's, and it's like, it's like, even from when my daughter was diagnosed, there wasn't really much out there then, and that was only in towards that 2017, and there wasn't that much out there even then, but yeah, it's crazy. So it's good.
The thing is as well, we have to push, don't we, for these diagnoses, whether it's for our children or whether it's for ourselves. People don't just come along and say, do you want to have, we have to sort of almost be at a point where we're like, oh, we really need some support, or we need some answers now. And we have to push for it. So like you're saying, with TikTok and with social media, people are getting more awareness and more understanding of themselves. And
it's good, but I do feel coming from someone who's been diagnosed at the beginning, I've seen the waves happening with BPD, then the bipolar, then ADHD, then autism, and it seems to go through waves like that. So I'm kind of waiting for the wave to go off. I'm not saying that there isn't a cry need for ADHD diagnosis, there is, but at the moment it's hard to tell, because I've always said this: a child getting diagnosed is, you can't make that up pretty much, because you've got to go. They go to the school reports, you've got your reports, you've got so many people involved. When it comes to an adult, you literally have a half an hour phone call, and if you know how to answer the questions, you know how to answer the questions because you've been watching it. So it's like when you believe something enough, anyway, it becomes your reality. So if you're looking, oh, that looks similar to me, you're going to keep watching, you're going to keep believing, and it might not be. So it's hard. And as much as the awareness is great, it can be dampening for that reason, and that people are not taking it as seriously, because it seems like I think people are going to, when it comes to ADHD, people are going a bit too far with the requirements of what's needed. With autism, they're not going enough. So I see that ADHD gets a lot more noise, and these kids are going in, causing the trouble in school, the ones that are getting the thingy. But the kids with autism, they're in the corner, they're getting on with it, and the ones that are getting left behind that have more severe problems. So I think it's good and bad, but I think, overall, you want people talking about it. That's what you want to be doing, regardless of what the conversation is, bringing awareness to it.
I think that is right as well, because I think I find that with like OCD, it does annoy me actually when people say like, "Oh, my house is so clean, I must be OCD," and it's just like, hey, my house is a mess because I can't focus on anything else other than dying. You know what I mean? It's a bit like, I do get that side of it. I think when people that don't actually like have those, they just have traits, and everyone has traits of everything. Like you look at, so, in that respect, like I think with ADHD as well, like with my son, he's obviously on the ADHD and autism pathway, which I was quite shocked that the autism was in there, comparing to my daughter, but obviously that they present so differently.
Definitely, yeah.
But, I've found that the schools and just people, like even in my family and people that know us, are so much more accepting and understanding of my daughter compared to my son, because I still think that boys get that naughty kid label.
Yeah, definitely.
My daughter doesn't. Like, she will go to school and refuse to work. Like, she doesn't do the warm-up questions in maths because she thinks they're pointless. Like, and they're fine with that. She'll go onto the desk, like, and just be a cat. Like, they're fine with that. She doesn't get any, like, kind of thing. In a way, it's like you need to kind of, like, give her a little bit of encouragement that you can't do that. But she doesn't really understand. So, she went down to the head teacher's office, and she's just like, "Oh, thanks for inviting me to your room." Like, she didn't. But with my son, like, he's getting told off and getting minutes taken off of his like break time because he's fidgeting, and he's talking too much, or he's drawing pictures instead of listening because he's a great artist. But he's like, he draws because he's like, I know all the stuff already, and he's really labelled as just a naughty kid that doesn't listen. So it's been
Show you how differently girls and boys are treated, and men and women. We know in our society.
Oh, but
anyway.
wait. Is this? But can we just clear this up? Is this actually a positive for men for once? Is this saying that men actually have it somewhat harder in some situation than a woman?
No.
Are you going to say that?
No.
Are you actually going to the camera?
Absolutely not. That is not what I'm going to get Sky on my side now. That is not what we're saying. What we're saying is the expectations of boys and girls are different, and and that's not okay, actually, because that's not a true reflection on our society as we grow. And everybody, we can all do what we can do. It doesn't matter if you're a male or female. Your life experience is what you want to make it. But even how your daughter perceived it, like going to the head teacher's office, oh my God, this is nice. Whereas your son probably would take it like, oh my God, I'm in trouble. This is really bad. Because
he'd just be like, well, everyone thinks I'm naughty anyway. Like, and he's and everything. Like, but he doesn't practice. He doesn't learn the spellings. Like, he doesn't do anything. And he's like still top set. Like, he just flying by on his like coattails. And because he's doing that, I think they think he's just naughty because he can do the work. But just it's really horrible. And I've had to fight, with him. And he's not toilet trained, and he's 9 nearly. And things like that. But it's kind of like, he doesn't sleep on his own through the night. I've slept with him every single night for 9 years.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but all of those things, he doesn't eat very well. He's very hyperactive. He's had major identity crises, like from sexuality through to like other things like death and where do we go when we die and all of these kind of things, like at bed light work. But still, the school were like, yeah, we don't, not really seeing it. Like he's just fidgeting or whatever. Like now they're supporting it, but it got sent back, and then I had to fight to take it through. And he probably would have been diagnosed by now if they'd have just listened to what he was doing at home. So, yeah, it's,
With the autism, they pushed Calvin's one back to put autistic traits on it and said done it. But when I done his medication review, speaking again, she said she's going to open it up for another one, but she said get the medication first and then go back for it. So it's got traits on there, but it means nothing. It's not full diagnosis. Autistic traits come up. But again, it's because my side was 100% autism, school side, not one mention. So in between that, because my evidence was so strong, they've taken some on my side, but because there's no evidence in the school, they can't push. But they won't, because he's still unmedicated and he's still got ADHD. But that's all they're going to see in school is him being ADHD. They're not going to see behind that because he's not it's not medicated or he's not dealt with that first. And I think also that's where schools struggle in the sense of, especially with the boys, of when you get to that point with the ADHD, it's very destructive in the class. And then when as a teacher, do you really hyper-focus on one kid over 29 others? In the sense of, if you're proactive, I say proactive is the way to get ADHD. Proactive structures will not cause the behaviour. The behaviour to reactions for the kids of ADHD already being failed. But then when you're in that position already, what can you possibly do? Because it just gets worse and worse and worse the longer it goes on for, and then other people get affected, and then it just become the target of the class. And then I've had conversations where I know that parents have moved their kid away from my son because of his behavior, and that hurts. Like, but at the end of the day, I understand. I'm like, well, if it's that bad, like, if you know what I mean, it's a hard battle to have, isn't it? I find anyway, with the ADHD symptoms in the classroom, because as much as it is that they've been let down, they also are not helping themselves, and you have to think about everyone else, and you can see why why there is a divide between normal parents and people with SEN parents, because from the outside looking in, it could look like that we just demand the world and demand our attention, all the kids, and forget them, which we kind of do in a sense, but it's not, because we need the extra help. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming so much of an issue. Like my kids go to a little tiny village school, and it's small, and even in my son's class, there's 7 of them with additional needs.
Yeah.
And, half of them have funding, half of them don't. And I've got a big battle coming up ahead of me in September because they've taken away my daughter's one-to-one that she's had for 7 years, and they've given her to another kid that hasn't actually got an ECHP. So this is going to be like a bit of a legal fight, I think, because she's funded for that. And yeah, it's going to another child in the school that I know doesn't have an ECHP yet. So yeah, it's a bit of a drama, but there's so many of them, and the diagnosis and the help and all of that is not catching up. Like, it's not, they need more days, they need more, you can't have a class of like 29 and 7 of them, have got additional needs, and only 2 of them have TAs, like, or one-to-one. It's like, and then the other ones are just sort of left. Yeah, it's crazy what's going on, and that's in school where I am. So can imagine, like, in the cities, it's got to be worse.
Yeah, as I said, with the numbers coming up, you would think that their training would have done, but it's not. And the way to do it is just adapt that there's going to be half and half of a classroom. Let's just think 5 years from now, 5, 10 years, half and half. So you've lost the battle. So you need to change the way that we're taught. So even that thing, 30 kids to a classroom, do we actually need to do that? Like, who says that? Where does that come from? And why has that not been changed? Why didn't a classroom of 215 would solve half the problems? I mean, cut the classrooms in half, little things like that.
But that will be to do with funding. That will be to do with funding,
isn't it?
And the school buildings. But I think that's what we're saying. It's actually a bigger issue than just a quick fix. It's about teacher training and teaching teachers to become inclusive in their teaching. If they're, because we don't take away from how hard this is for a teacher. And I've said this, I don't think anyone goes to work with children to do wanting to do a bad job. But it's,
I don't know why I said that.
It's difficult, because if they haven't had the training and they don't understand how dyslexia affects, it's not just about not being able to read or write. There's lots of other, your brain is neurodivergent, it works differently. ADHD, it's not just about being hyperactive. Autism, it's not just about, there's lots of little assumptions. And if a teacher can teach in an inclusive way that can address everybody's learning needs, surely, rather than separating everybody and I think,
We
yeah,
were talking about learning styles the other day, wasn't we? Like,
yeah,
you have like the kinetic learning styles and how people do it. So why is that not offered as a standard
it
to
should be.
every bit of information that's given to you in a classroom?
Yeah.
Stuff like
And
that would help.
being outside as well, like for a certain amount of time, like doing a lot more teaching outdoors. 'Cause obviously, you don't have the confines of the classroom, but there's a lot you can do, like teaching outside. But instead, they insist on growing these little plant pots or whatever they're doing at school.
Yeah.
Like in the classroom, it's like, why don't you just do that outside? Like,
Yeah.
they're teaching about the weather from a book inside the class. It's like, just take them all outside, and then like they're going to learn a lot better.
You know what though? I remember at school, like with the little egg, and then you put cotton wool in it and grow cress and then draw a little face.
Yeah, I do like those sort of that. Yeah, the little
Oh,
egg.
that's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so we've sort of digressed slightly. So what you're setting up is just basically going to pull your everything to do with additional needs.
So, would it be like, like you go on Google Maps and
Like
you've got
a
like
directory,
petrol stations, hairdressers, nearest hairdresser, near this? Is it going to be like that? And then it'll be the ones that pull, and then it'll be, you'll list them, obviously, which ones are inclusive.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. So I got a little bit like sick of just going on Facebook all the time. Oh, can you recommend me this? And then like people just be telling their mates that's a hairdresser, and it's not actually like genuine. Like they'll be like, oh, like Maggie did my hair, she's really great. Like, and
Yeah.
it's like you know what I mean? It's just not it. So yeah, what will happen is when the businesses are on there registered, you can search. So it'll be like search in my area, like, or whatever, and you can search for keywords, and you can search by like accessibility as well. So wheelchair, no wheelchair, PECs if they use PECs, if they don't use PECs, and stuff like that. So there's like lots of different filters that you can use.
Sounds
But
brilliant.
also there is you'll have a dashboard if you're a user. So say if you've been somewhere that's been really good, you can leave a review. So you can leave it, or if they've been really bad, you're like, I shouldn't actually be on it, they're rubbish. And then obviously that will
Yeah.
flag it. So that will, and then we can work with them to make sure they're more inclusive, or remove them if they're not. But it's small at the moment, so we're doing our due diligence on each one. But as it grows, some people that add.
Just you talking about it, I can see this growing.
I was thinking,
Quite big.
how do we keep hold of her when she's a millionaire?
So
She remembers his podcast and it's like, oh, do you know what? No, yeah, that's good. They deserve a little investment for their business.
No, because do you know what you're saying? So we've just said about our SENDhelp, and we've got people all over the country. We had a member in Spain. We've got someone in Scotland, Ireland. And
America.
and it just makes you realise that actually everybody's coming up against the same issues, regardless of where they are in the world or in the United Kingdom or wherever. And there's a potential, I think. And something we've done on SENDhelp, we've got moderators. So we've got members that are all over the country. And what I was hoping was that we could get them looking for clubs and but I guess in a way that's what you're going to be doing. So maybe that's something we can collaborate, because it's almost like you need people in certain areas to be able to, like you're saying, you can't actually get out and see every person and go into every business yourself.
Yeah. So initially in the early days, it will be that. And then hopefully, we'll get people that come on and that go out to businesses, and then they'll get the sensory star. So then the idea is that if they have the sensory star logo in their window, that business is sensory and they're trained. So a little bit like TripAdvisor, but it's a sensory. Yeah, it saves that stress of going in, like, especially when you want to go and have a meal or something, or you're just out, or if you're on holiday, it's just like you can just look for the sensory star. That's the idea anyway. That's the grand like scheme. But
I mean, this is groundbreaking. We're going to be like, that's a rare.
Yeah, we are genuinely. We think this is because we're seeing it every single day.
Yeah. And as I said, we know the need already from just doing it in your local area. You'd blow really in there, let alone covering the whole of UK. You're serious. So again, it would be like a Michelin star for autism.
Yeah, and I've had members. I've just done my counselling qualification, and I've had people that are somebody that reached out to me and said, and she's a trained counsellor, but she was saying she's got a friend who's a hairdresser who wants it to be autism friendly. What does she need to do? Can I give her any support? So like you said, there are a lot of people that really want to be inclusive and make changes. And
Even if it's a trend, they want to jump on the trend, don't they? Like, if I said, even if they've not got a heart in it, they want to look like they are. So it's still something that, as you said, they're running out of time and every business needs to be part of it, or they're going to look like it. Yeah. Well, I was going to do that with leafleting. I was just going to threaten them and be like, I've got a lot of reach on Facebook. I'm going to do a post saying that you're a supporter of SEND or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, no one really says no, because why would they?
yeah,
Like, they already know someone connected to them. It's their next door neighbour, it's their mum, I don't know, auntie or something like that.
That's the thing, and there's a lot of like neurodivergent business owners, as we know, like it's there's so many of them. So yeah, there's that side to it as well. And yeah, there's a lot of people, like even people that I wouldn't have thought of, that contacted me. Like there's one person, she's only small, but she makes like custom made like clothing for, like without the buttons and stuff like that, and on the adaptive clothing. I was like, that's amazing.
yeah.
So yeah, she was like, "Oh, I don't know if I'll be a good fit," but I was like, "Yeah, of course. Like, if you want to be on there and you're, servicing the neurodiverse community, then I don't see why you can't be on there." So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really nice to see. The reception's been really good. So
Well, what do you think the biggest gap from your research so far? What is, you said hairdressers is the big thing. Is there anything other like hairdressers that they're dying out for supporting businesses?
swimming
Swimming.
Yeah.
is
Oh, we've got one. I didn't realise we've got someone that sort of swims.
I know we have, yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. Swimming is one. Yeah.
swimming is so bad, and even the people that do offer them, it's so out of the price range of anybody that can afford it. So this is another thing that I wanted to do, like later down the line, maybe like after a year or whatever, and the business is getting some revenue. I want to do it so a certain amount of the revenue from the platform goes back to like funding certain places, so you'd be able to get like lessons and stuff like that, because it's so hard. And swimming it's key to survival. Like, we know that a lot of children with neurodiversity, they make a beeline for water, and it's really big cause of death in children with like autism specifically, but also like ADHD and as well. And it's just a criminal that there's not more. It's actually criminal that it's not more available, and the
Yeah.
government isn't doing anything. The government aren't. So we need to do it as a community, and as parents, we need to do it, because like I've been teaching my kids myself, but it's really hard. Like, I mean, it took about 6 weeks for them to get in the pool. Do you know what I mean? And like even now, like they can't swim, so it's really hard. And yeah, it's so horrible. And I live in Cornwall.
You know what? That's a massive thing. That's a
Yeah.
really good thing for you to highlight, because, we live on the coast. We live near the sea.
Yeah. I just assume that everyone can. But
And-
that's how I got here.
And swimming is a massive thing because of just what a swimming pool environment is like. It is loud, it is chaotic, it is bright, it smells funny, it's
Just
noisy.
black.
It's
Yeah.
like there's water, which sounds really obvious, but it's just the whole thing is terrifying.
Yeah, it really is. But it's just like the mind just boggles, really, that they don't provide this, like in a first world country like we are, and you've got disabled children that can't get a swimming lesson. And then you've got parents, and they're sort of coming back to me online, and they're saying like, "Oh, it's £80 for half an hour, or it's £60
Wow.
an hour," and it's
Wow.
like, how
Why
can
is
you?
it so much harder? It's not. It'll just be smaller groups.
Yeah, and it's
Or
like
one to one. Do you know what I mean?
it's like exploitation, really.
Yeah.
See that as the schools that are running those and charging that amount, that's exploitation. You're not doing that because you care. And like
You know the need's there if you price it up. That's what they've done.
yeah, exactly. But I just find that really like morally wrong. I know like that's what people do, and that's probably why I'm not rich already. But I just find that wrong. It's not. It should be subsidized at least. It's not. So I think if we can do something like that, and the same with drama. I think drama is really important for children as a way to self-express, because when you're neurodiverse or you have like social anxiety and things like that, it can really hold you back in life. You could have the most amount of potential ever, and you could be the smartest person and well overqualified for a job, but if you can't sit in an interview and pitch yourself, or you can't get yourself across verbally, you're going to be held back, and it's not fair. So I think like doing drama when you're really young is really important to confidence and getting you speaking in front of people, rather than just saying, "Oh, that person's like shy, we won't make them talk in front of the class," and stuff like that. It's like the drama clubs have been amazing. Like for my daughter especially, like and even my son. But for my daughter especially, like, she's gone from being completely nonverbal to she performed What Was I Made Of? What Am I Made For? You know, the Barbie song? She's
Yeah.
in front of the whole school on the last day and played piano because she taught herself piano on her phone, which I didn't even know she. But, you know, and she just sung in front of the whole school and just got up there and did that. And it's like, you know, for a child with autism to do that is just crazy. And she's been at drama since she was pretty much diagnosed, since she was like 3. And they started off just being trees, just being cats, just being like, you know, pretend you're a shopkeeper. It's not like set lines or anything like that. It's just
Yeah.
self and getting used to talking in front of people. And I think that's something as well that's really, really helps children with neurodiversity is confidence, because their confidence is knocked all the time about what they can't do and how they have to
Yeah.
have adapted for them and stuff. So just giving them that confidence really helps. So that's 2 areas that I really am like passionate about, is the drama and the swimming. Those 2 areas I think are key for their futures.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, it's amazing.
I was going to say, from my point of view, I find that combat sports was good for my kid. But again, they're very inclusive anyway, because a lot of them are got ADHD and autism naturally. So it's not, you don't even need that support in it. I think it's just a natural thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Combat sports like boxing, jiu-jitsu, judo, MMA, like my kids do. Like it just gives them that discipline and also the confidence that they can, I suppose, not handle themselves, but if anything was going to happen, I think that's a fear as well that people forget, especially when you're autistic. That you think that you see all these people with ADHD running around the place, like smacking things up, and you're thinking, please don't come anywhere near me. And that's the whole fear, isn't it, of even being, that's why they're cut off from society, because they don't know it. But go in there, you'll meet them in the same place and they're equal. And you might be able to beat them up. Like, do you know what I mean? You go back to school and said, I choked you out last week.
It is good. I tried to get my son into it, but the one that I took him to it wasn't very good, I guess, because he just, he just wanted to punch the bag the whole time and like punch and stuff all the time. And he didn't want to watch them, like show them do the thing. And I was like, he'd be so good at it as well, but he just couldn't like sit still to listen, basically. He just got bored. But I think he's probably at the wrong one because
we changed a couple.
Yeah.
First one I went to was really open, and he did like it, but it was packed. It was so busy. It was like 30, 40 kids, and it was boxing. So it was not so much one-to-one or learning moves. It's just kind of group effort. And he started stacking on there. Since he went to MMA, because it's a lot more serious, and you're going to break someone's arm if you don't listen. She's so strict, and he's thrived.
Yeah, that's good. That's what you need, is someone strict. And I did say that when I turned up there, like, you need to be really. And she's like, yeah, don't worry. But then, like, yeah, she just wasn't great. And like, I don't know if it's just with my son, he tends to respond better to men anyway. So yeah, I will try him again in a little while. But yeah,
What I found is it's being direct, because when you've got autism and ADHD, the inferences and the little, I don't get, and I know sometimes that I come across really direct, and I sometimes I apologise, but it's not meant as as rudeness. It's meant, well, no, that's what I need you to do. So it's very clear. Does that make sense?
yeah, that's good though. That's what you need, isn't it? You don't need
I think so.
Should we all sit down now? Because he's just thinking, no.
What do you mean? It's like, sit down.
No, I love like Eastern European, the African culture, some of the Greek, because they don't miss their words. They just say it how it is, and you don't have any false expectation. There's none of this behind your back stuff. It's literally, if it's uncomfortable, they'll still say it.
Yeah.
In England, we are so far away from saying anything direct like that. It's all dressed up, it's all hidden. It's a nightmare for ADHD and autism, especially to copy a mask, because it doesn't make sense. I've got dyslexia, and I still am convinced it's because of the English language. It's not dyslexia. I've been having a different country. It's just English is ridiculous.
No, he's said stuff to me before, and he's like, well, what is that? And I'm like, well,
it's like a double meaning. You're like, well, what does that, how am I meant to learn one if you're saying it for 6 different things? Right?
Yeah, my daughter still does that now. She gets all of her words confused. Like she really thinks she's saying it. Like she'll be having an argument and she'll be like saying something and it'll be completely wrong. And I'm just like, okay. But yeah, a lot of the words have double meanings and it can be confusing. But yeah.
Another question, going back to your business. So obviously you're starting up. So this is starting off small. Because I know what I see as a projection for your business. Do you see yourself moving into big corporations and big, whether it's a department store, whether it's a restaurant chain, whether it's do you see, because I do see that, because everything you're saying, I think there is such a need globally. It's not just, in Cornwall, or it's not just in Kent where we live. This is something.
Just get like a big like Weatherspoons
I-
train or something, like Weatherspoons everywhere. Like, do you know what I mean, adaptive.
But I just wonder whether, do you see that, or are you, I don't know what your vision
I
is
mean,
like.
primarily I'm thinking like local businesses, but I mean, obviously once the demand grows, then businesses on it anyway, because they're just all about the money. But I do think it will still be very much like clinical. I just can't see it being done like well, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the big
Yeah.
scale, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll work together on that, Sky, because my
Yeah.
vision, my brain's gone. I've gone
There's
into
like
the
McDonald's already do like free inclusive football. I don't know if you've seen that, but they all
Yeah.
run sessions like that. So I think they kind of do what they can to get through. And like some of the hotel chains, you have like sensory certain rooms and stuff that you
Yeah. So it's just, they're just gestures, like
Yeah.
you know, it's almost like, oh, we've ticked a box. But I think maybe with people like Sensory Stars and SENDhelp actually really pushing this forward and driving it forward and saying, no, we're not just making token gestures. We want to actually make a difference in people's lives. I think we can do that. I think this would be huge. That's what I think. What do you think? Yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Have you got anything else you want to, that we've missed out on, or that you want to say about your business starting up? Or
I mean, the website's pretty much ready to go. So I'm running a waiting list at the moment. The reason why I haven't put it live yet is because it's summer holidays and I don't want to, I just need the kids to go back to
Don't
school.
do it yourself. I've been working on summer holidays. Never again. Never
Yeah.
again.
Once they're back to school. But yeah, if you've got a business and it sounds like, you know, this is something that you want to do, so you can just contact me. It's SEN Stars on TikTok, or sensorystars.co.uk. You can go on there and get through. You can register on the wait list. And then obviously when it's out, even if you're not ready and your business isn't prepared and it's something that you'd like to learn about in the future and how you can be more inclusive, then we will send you a letter when we're, you know, a newsletter when we're running those sessions to get your business more inclusive. So we're probably going to do it in batches, so sort of like run different courses for different times, so like hairdressers and things like that, and obviously collabs. So yeah, we'll see. But if you want to join the waitlist as a user or join the waitlist as a business, then please do, because it's
and we'll post it on our app as well, won't we? We'll post. You know, we put your podcast on there, and we'll post your details on there. So hopefully, I'm sure. Well, I know they will, because these are the conversations we're having every day. So I think it's amazing what you did. Brilliant idea. I think it's got the potential to be something huge.
I don't want to say bigger than SENDhelp, but it seems like it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did. Oh, I really thought we was going somewhere, and you come out top of that. Yeah.
Well, we can collab on stuff. You're doing a
Exactly.
job as well, so you know it's everything that we're doing individually is just helping the community, and I think the community they just really need help.
Yeah.
You know, like
Definitely.
us, no one is. So it's down to you know, us as a community and as parents and as individuals to do something, because it's not coming.
And we're
No.
fighters, aren't we? We're fighters. That's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's for our children, it's normally for our children, to be fair, not so much for ourselves, but yeah, for our kids. So will you come back on? So once you've launched, can we get you back on to have a chat and just talk us through how it's going?
Yeah, definitely. That would be amazing. Yeah, it would be good. I can obviously do a walkthrough and things like that with you as well. Yeah, it's nice. I think it's nice. I'll show you guys anyway before it goes live.
Yeah, brilliant. No, we can't wait. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you today.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's really good. Really good.
And we'll talk to you again once you've launched.
Okay,
And all
thank
the
you.
kids have gone back to school, and we could all take I don't know, school just as hard. I never know which is worse.
I'll take it at the moment.
Holidays or school.
Yeah.
I've gone back to the point where I'm saying I've never homeschooled Calvin again. Watch when he goes back to school for free. So I'm like, yeah, I'm putting him out in year 7.
Yeah, I see that.
Right, take care, and we'll speak soon.
Okay, thank you.